TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations.
Shalom and good evening. This is TV7 Israel News, broadcast to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, a fourth terror attack plagues Israel in less than 10 days as Israel ratcheted up pressure on Islamist terrorists. Israeli Defense Minister Benny Gantz proclaims all tools are kosher in war on terror. Israeli President Herzog meets with Jordan's King Abdullah II in Amman. Israel will not stand idly by while its citizens are under threat in the wake of recurring terror attacks, a defense establishment situation assessment that included Israeli Defense Minister Benny Gantz, IDF Chief of General Staff Lieutenant General Aviv Kochavi, and Central Command Commander Major General Yehuda Fuchs, among others. A series of measures were adopted.
מדינת ישראל נמצאת תחת מתקפת טרור רצחנית. כמו בעבר, מחוללי הטרור ימצאו מולם כוחות ביטחון נחושים, מקצועיים ויוזמים. הם ימצאו מולם אזרחים חסונים. מדינת ישראל חוותה בעבר מלחמות ומבצעים וגלי טרור, וגם הפעם אנחנו ננצח. אנחנו נוקטים בצעדים הגנתיים והתקפיים בכדי למנוע את הפיגועים הבאים ככל שרק ניתן. ברמה המבצעית, צה"ל בהובלת הרמטכ"ל וביחד עם ארגוני הביטחון הנוספים מרכז מאמץ מודיעיני ויצא למעצרי מנע ולפעולות מול המחבלים והסייענים בכל מקום בו יהיו. הוא לא מתחיל את זה עכשיו, מאות רבות נעצרו בתקופה האחרונה ועשרות פיגועים נמנעו.
Jerusalem's top defense official also announced that he signed an executive order granting the defense establishment a legal framework to conduct administrative detentions of Israeli residents who are suspected of terror activities, emphasizing further that in the war against terror, all tools are kosher.
הבוקר גם חתמתי על צווי מעצר מנהליים לתושבים ישראלים שחשודים בפח"ע והם לא יהיו אחרונים. ואם יהיה צורך בכך, נגייס באופן מיידי אלפי חיילי מילואים שיציפו את הרחובות ביחד עם השוטרים ויפעלו בכל מקום בו נדרשת פעילות מבצעית. כל האמצעים כשרים כדי לשבור את הגל הזה, ואנחנו נפעיל את כל האמצעים שנחשוב שהם נכונים לשימוש. ייקח מה שיקח, יידרש מה שידרש. אנחנו נשבור את גל הטרור הזה. בכוח, בתבונה ובאחריות, נחזיר את השקט והיציבות, ננהג בראייה ארוכת טווח, בהתאם לצורכי הביטחון.
Following the defense minister's announcement, dozens of operations were launched throughout Israel and the West Bank districts of Judea and Samaria. In East Jerusalem, the Border Police Special Operations Yamas unit arrested 9 Arab residents who were suspected of arms smuggling, during which numerous weapons were uncovered. Separately, in the West Bank town of Jenin and the adjacent Jabed village from which the terrorists who perpetrated the murderous attack on Tuesday night originated, were the main focus of the military's operations. According to the IDF spokesperson's unit, during the course of operational activities to apprehend suspects, Palestinian gunmen opened fire at the troops who responded with fire. As a result, one IDF soldier was injured and was evacuated to a hospital for medical attention. He was subsequently diagnosed in light condition. In tandem, according to the Palestinian Health Ministry, 4 Palestinians were killed and another 14 were reportedly wounded.
עד עכשיו הכוחות שלנו ביצעו יותר מ-200 פעולות מעצר או תחקור. הבית של המחבל ביאבד כבר מופה לקראת הריסה, ואנחנו פועלים להרוס אותו כמה שיותר מהר כדי לייצר הרתעה. ההנחיה שלי היא ליצור מגע עם כל מי שהיה לו אי פעם קשר לדאעש. פשוט להגיע לאנשים האלה לבצע מולם כל פעולה נדרשת, כולל מעצר מנע.
Prime Minister Naftali Bennett, whose filmed statement was meant to update Israelis regarding a series of decisions that were taken during a security cabinet meeting that was held last night, further urged Israeli civilians that are licensed to carry weapons to do so.
מעכשיו חיילים בסדיר, בקבע, במילואים, מרובעי 03 ומעלה, יצאו מהבסיסים הביתה עם הנשק. אנחנו גם בוחנים עכשיו מסגרת גדולה יותר לשילוב מתנדבים אזרחים שרוצים לעזור ולסייע. מה מצופה מכם אזרחי ישראל? ערנות ואחריות, לפקוח עין. מי שיש לו רישיון לנשק, זה הזמן לשאת את הנשק.
The stressed necessity for Israeli civilians to carry licensed personal arms coincides with a security assessment that additional acts of terror are likely to occur ahead and during the month of Ramadan, which begins tomorrow. Meanwhile, at approximately 9 a.m. this morning, a Palestinian armed with a screwdriver stabbed and seriously wounded a 28-year-old Israeli civilian near the West Bank settlement of El Azhar, in what the IDF confirmed to be yet another terror attack. The attack occurred on a bus that was driving at the Neve Daniel junction near the Israeli community. According to the IDF spokesperson's unit, an armed civilian on the bus operated to thwart the attack and neutralize the terrorists. It is important to note that the Israeli Security Cabinet has decided not to cancel planned relief measures for Palestinians during Ramadan, despite the recent spate of terror. Security officials advised Security Cabinet ministers to keep the planned relief measures unchanged, since any change was liable to exacerbate tensions further. It is further noted that the Security Cabinet's decision was made after Israeli President Herzog met with Jordan's King Abdullah II in Amman to discuss ways of alleviating seeming tensions ahead of the overlapping Muslim, Jewish, and Christian holidays during much of the month of April.
We are delighted to have you here. I think this is very important for all of us to be able to see how we can chart a new course for the region, and we welcome you and your delegation here to Jordan. And here, sir, I would like to point out that we completely and utterly condemn any kinds of violence, as we witnessed so many tragic attacks on civilians on both sides, and especially what happened last night. I know, sir, that in your heart and all of us around the table want to make sure that we continue to work to make sure that no innocent lives are ever lost, and that every innocent life matters for all of us. And I believe that as we look at the regional challenges and to bring hopes to our people, we will continue to work in this endeavor to make sure that we can chart a future for all of us in this region. We do look at the challenges of next month. For us, it's the holy month of Ramadan, it's Easter, it's Passover, as well as other Jewish holidays. And I know that we will be working very closely together, all three of us, to avoid measures that could hinder Muslim worship's access to Al-Aqsa and Al-Haram al-Sharif, and preserving the legal and historical status quo of Jerusalem and the holy sites.
The Israeli head of state, for his part, stressed the sadness of Israel's society in the wake of the abhorrent acts of terror, while underscoring further Jerusalem's intent to pursue an alternative to the abyss of hatred and bloodshed.
We share common values of prosperity and peace based on our peace agreement, which was carved out by the late King Hussein, your legendary father, as well as the late Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin. And together we now must move forward, and we are offering an alternative. As against the horrible scenes of yesterday, we offer a different alternative of people-to-people dialogue, of respect, of speaking to each other, on showing the region that there could be a different way. I always say, the fact is that Muslim leaders are meeting Jewish leaders and Israeli leaders together is an alternative to the abyss of hatred and bloodshed. And therefore, we move forward with partnerships, with dialogue towards peace and prosperity for the benefit of all peoples of the region, including our nations and including our neighboring Palestinians. As we enter the holy days for all three religions, the Easter, the Passover, Pesach, and of course Ramadan, with its holidays inside, we must move towards the ability of enabling everyone to practice their beliefs in safety, in security, in calm circumstances. This is what we need to work towards, and we know that there is a constant dialogue between the Israeli government and your government towards that goal, as well as all other partners in the region.
Thank you for joining us. As part of TV7 Israel's prayer initiative, I would like to encourage you to keep praying for the situation involving Russia and Ukraine, in addition to prayers for our persecuted brothers and sisters worldwide, and for the peace of Jerusalem and the salvation of Israel. Tomorrow, TV7 will broadcast Powers in Play with Amir Oren. I'm Yair Pinto, wishing you a Shabbat Shalom Mevorach, and we will see you again on Monday for TV7 Israel News at the same time.